Space is way scarier than you think by Joe Scott.
On February 7th, 1984, 317 miles above Earth, Bruce McCandless pushed away from the space shuttle and into the history books, taking the largest first step in human history. While Neil Armstrong's small step was a giant leap for mankind, Bruce McCandless's first test of the Manned Maneuvering Unit,
That photo has so much aura. Oh my god. It would actually be so sick to go into space, but like I don't want to do the training.
was a plunge into infinity. Space is big. In size, obviously, but also in the way that it stirs our imaginations. The very concept of nothing is hard to fully process. And if space is anything, it's a whole lot of nothing. Potentially infinite nothingness. But at the same time, teeming with monstrous structures and energies beyond human comprehension. Filaments made up of thousands of clusters of galaxies, each with hundreds of billions of stars. Areas of space so dense and massive that the rules of
It's like Interstellar. It's like Wait, is this Interstellar?
physics entirely break down. And yet, when we look outside, we only see the very closest stars. All the rest of it is just out there, hidden in the endless darkness.
Bro, I really do. I need to go out to somewhere that doesn't have light pollution and look at the sky. I've always wanted to do that, and I honestly, I don't think I've really had the opportunity to. But that's on my bucket list, bro. Just somewhere with very low or no light pollution. I mean, there's nowhere with zero light pollution, I think, but you could get basically none or very, very minimal. I need to do that, bro. I actually need to do that so bad.
Like an eldritch horror. And despite that, or maybe because of it, we feel inexplicably drawn to it. From our earliest days, we explored the infinite darkness, looking for meaning. We used the stars to navigate, to guide our planting of crops. We imprinted our gods and mythologies into the patterns we saw in them. We may not have known what was out there, but we knew it was important. We invented eye-enhancing telescopes that reached through the darkness and found monstrous worlds we didn't even know existed. And now in the modern era, we've taken our first tentative steps into that void by packaging ourselves in suits and machines.
I thought he was just gonna lift up the old glass right there. Just yeah. Hey, do we really know if you can breathe in space or not? How many how many people have died from suffocating in space? How many people have died from suffocating in space? 3. Okay, that's it though. So besides that, okay, never mind. There's 30. Never mind.
Machines that simulate the conditions on Earth. And we can't survive in any of it. Our world, in this perspective, is a microscopic oasis in a never-ending inky void, as insignificant to the rest of the universe as a bacterium floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Astrophobia is the fear of space, or astronomical objects. Astro from the Greek astron, meaning star, and phobia from the Greek phobos, meaning...
I mean, I'm not discrediting this, but can't you really be scared of anything? Can't you have a fear for pretty much anything? Isn't there a phobia for anything out there?
Fear. So technically, astrophobia is the fear of stars, but we include space and celestial objects as well. Objects like, say, the Mars moon Phobos. We literally have an object in the solar system named Fear. If someone...
So I guess people would be scared of me because I'm kind of a star. Kill me.
Someone from the city who rarely sees stars goes to the country or dark sky territory, they might find the immensity of a fully lit night sky to be overwhelming, even nerve-rattling. We might say that person has a touch of astrophobia. A believer in astrology might become nervous in the days when Mercury goes into retrograde. This could be considered astrophobia. Or the old idea that people go mad under a full moon, turning them into lunatics.
It's like Majora's Mask when the moon is falling. That's exactly what it is. Also, okay, here's what I don't understand, bro. Is did we actually get any useful information from going to the moon? I don't really think we did, to be honest. I think we did go to the moon. I don't even think it's really that much of a debate, to be honest. But I don't think we really gathered that much information. I think we did it purely for political reasons. But I mean, I think it's crazy to say that we faked everything. That's wild. I do kind of see people saying we faked some of the footage or something, but the whole thing, the amount of evidence you would have to fake for that would be astonishing. And no, I don't think it's possible that you could do that.
That's astrophobia.
Fake it, I mean.
In
I
the
don't think it's
ancient
possible you could
times,
fake it.
comets were thought to be
To that degree.
harbingers of disaster. In
me
fact,
clarify.
that's where the word comes from. Disaster, bad star. But there's another type of astrophobia. One that's not specific to an object or a superstition, but something much deeper. A kind of cosmic existentialism. Have you ever laid in the grass on a clear night and just took in the sky?
Nope.
Just let it wash over you and kind of become a part of it. A
I
strange
want to, though.
sensation starts to come over you that you're not actually looking up. You're looking down. Below you is a drop into an infinite void, and the only thing keeping you from falling is the fact that you're stuck to the ground by gravity. This shift in perspective is a bit of a transformative experience, and I recommend everybody to have it at some point in their lives. Certain chemicals can help that along. Just saying. But that perspective is a bit more accurate. In space, there really is no up. There is no down. It's just out. In all directions. Forever. And the only thing keeping you from falling into it is this invisible force called gravity, which we still don't really understand. And it's a good thing, because if you were to ever go out in any of those forever directions, you'd be dead after 5 miles. That's it. That is as far as a human can go in that direction before we can't breathe anymore.
That's pretty wild.
5 miles. 8 kilometers. You could walk that distance in a little over an hour. That's nothing. And everything beyond that will kill you.
I don't know about walking. I don't think you could walk 5 miles in an hour. That seems like a really fast. That would be a really fast walk. I would say like a jog, like what would that be? 6 miles per hour? How long? Okay. What speed? I'm looking up so many weird things today. To 5 miles in an hour. 12 minutes. Okay. 5 miles per hour. Yeah. That's like a jog. That's not a walk.
Fear of space indeed.
Sorry.
We
I
exist on a
have to be
tiny
efficient about it.
sliver of space.
I have to be.
On the surface of a tiny planet. And even in that sliver, we can only survive on land, which is only 29% of the total surface. And even on that land, only 43% of it is habitable.
43%? That seems, well, is that including like the oceans though? Or is that just like just the land? If that's just the land, that's wild.
Different ways. You can dehydrate, drown, fall off a cliff, get hit by lightning, consumed by fire, consumed by a lion, or a tiger, or a bear. You could eat the wrong berry, or pet the wrong snake,
You could smoke cigarettes for 40 years and die of lung cancer.
or get bitten by the wrong bug, or go to Australia. You could get blown up by a volcano, or breathe a toxic gas, catch a disease from a rat, or have a small number of blood cells clot up and travel to your brain, or just wait long enough. One way or the other, the Earth always wins. Nobody has ever survived Earth, and yet it's the only place in our solar system we can survive. If you teleported to the surface of Mercury, you would lose consciousness within 20 seconds for lack of oxygen, and in the vacuum of space, your skin would boil as gases in your blood flash into bubbles, like a carbonated soda.
I won't think
If you were
about it.
teleported to the sun side, your body would bake on the 800-degree surface. If you're on the shadow side, it's immediate frostbite at negative 290 degrees. If you went to
I
the
know most people watching this right now are already baked. So I don't think
surface
it's
of
gonna be a
Venus,
problem.
you wouldn't have time to suffocate from the lack of oxygen because you would immediately burst into flame from the 867-degree air temperature, while simultaneously being crushed by an
Nuh-uh.
atmospheric pressure 92 times higher than here on Earth. It would
No.
basically be like the
Not you,
Titan
not you, Gamer Dane. Not you. Yeah. No, you know what? You're right.
submersible, but on fire. On Mars, you might have a relatively warm day, but you'd still suffocate. There's only 1% of our air pressure there, and almost none of it is oxygen. So you'd get the worst case of the bends imaginable, and then pass out. Teleporting to the surface of Jupiter would be difficult because there's no real surface on Jupiter, just thick atmosphere that gets thicker as you go down until it turns into liquids and solids and states of matter we don't even understand. You would basically just fall until you were crushed into a diamond. Somewhat the same thing on Saturn, but breathing the ammonia clouds would scorch your lungs first. Neptune and Uranus are so far away from the sun that the hydrogen atmosphere freezes solid. That's why they're called ice giants, which is what you would be within seconds of going there. At negative 371 degrees, Your body doesn't freeze, it vitrifies.
I want to see the surface of like Uranus or Neptune. Like, what does the surface of those planets look like? Is it just ice? Is it basically just a colder Antarctica? I've always wondered that because I feel like I haven't really seen like a on the ground image. Do we even have that? I mean, obviously I know we have like images from, the atmosphere and stuff, but like do we have like on the ground images of those planets? I don't know if we do. I have no idea. Look, I'm not a scientist, okay? I'm just the smartest man you'll ever talk to.
Basically turns into glass. Our sense of scale about space is completely skewed because you can't really image it. To show it remotely at scale, you wouldn't really be able to see anything. It takes 8 minutes for light to travel from the sun to the Earth. It takes light about 8 hours to reach the outer edge of the Kuiper Belt and leave our solar system. So one light day is 3 times longer than the radius of our solar system. One light year is 365 times that long. Our closest star is 2.24 light years away. Polaris is around 450 light years away.
It's actually kind of closer than I thought. But I also really don't have a sense of scale for this type of thing. Like, bro, once you get, I honestly don't even have a sense of scale past like 20 miles. So this really, that's not true. I would say like, once you get to like 400, 500 miles, that's when I start losing it,
The farthest star that you can see with the naked eye is V762 Cassiopeia, a supergiant star approximately 16,000 light years away. While we're looking at the Milky Way, we sit about halfway between the center and the edge. If we went to the edge, it would be...
It's also how far away I am from getting a girl. It's okay, guys. It's all right, guys.
25 to 28,000 light years, making the radius of the Milky Way about 50,000 light years, roughly 100,000 all the way across. These distances are ridiculous, but that's nothing compared to the distance between galaxies. The closest galaxy is Andromeda, which is 2.5 million light years away, 25 times the length of our galaxy. We're part of the local group of galaxies, roughly 10 million light years across. And that is inside the Virgo supercluster, which contains 100 galaxy clusters and made up of 10,000 galaxies.
Okay, like, is this even provable? Like, how do we know this? How the hell do we know this? Like, I understand you can make calculations and you can map things out in that way and stuff, but like, on this type of scale, aren't we just kind of making pretty big estimates? Or, I mean, how exact is this, I never really understand that. Math or something like that? Yeah, it's just something. Science. Neil deGrasse Tyson's on it. He's got it. And Bill Nye, they figured it out.
Spanning 110 million light years. And that is part of the Laniakea supercluster, including the Virgo supercluster and the Hydra Centaurus supercluster, that are all flowing toward a region known as the Great Attractor. It's 500 million light years across.
What the hell is this?
Laniakea is one of the superclusters that makes up the Pisces-Cetus supercluster complex. It's a galaxy filament 1 billion light years long. At this scale, the cosmos breaks down into filaments and voids, including the Boötes void, which is 300 million light years across. Just pure emptiness. Beyond this is the cosmic web, which is where our numbers break down. All told, the observable universe is agreed to be about 93 billion light years across.
Because this is like, dude, leaving our universe, I'm already like, what the hell is going on? And we're like way past that, brother. We're talking about voids and shit. Like,
given the absurd scale that we're dealing with, one can only assume that the universe is filled with billions, even trillions of different planets harboring life. If there is even a millionth of a percentage chance that life could evolve in another star system, the number would still be, well, astronomical. Arthur C. Clarke once said, quote, "Two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe, or we are not. Both are equally terrifying."
I was just going to say both are equally terrifying. Because, like, bro, you can survive a black hole. You would just, Gamer Dane, you could take that shit? I know you take that. Yeah, you could take that. The black hole, you got that. You got that. Yeah. For sure. Anyway, yeah, bro, that's the thing is like, okay, would being alone be that bad? Because would we ever even really know, Like, we can never confirm that we're alone, but we can confirm if we're not, if that makes any sense. Like, technically, we could not come into contact with anything for the rest of human existence, and we could never answer the question if we're alone or not, but we could meet another species, and then we could confirm if we aren't alone. Does that make any sense? I don't know if I'm just yapping or if I don't know.
If the universe is teeming with life, that would mean that it's filled with potential hidden threats all around us. But it would also mean that we are not special.
Can never prove the
We do
negative.
not
Yeah,
have
yeah,
some
exactly.
privileged place in the universe. We are not the universe experiencing itself. We're just a really weird fluke of organic chemistry that happens from time to time, devoid of meaning and purpose. If
Also,
there's no
it doesn't life on other planets doesn't have to be carbon based, you know? Like that's what we're assuming it is because that's what every life we're aware of is made out of, but it could be non-carbon based.
if there's no life outside of Earth, then we are truly alone, floating in an infinite void, which would be, in the words of Ellie Arroway, a huge waste of space. It's such a waste of space, it feels unreal. Perhaps a simulation? What if this really is just a massive game that creates itself as we explore the virtual universe? The further out we look, the more we see. When Hubble took its deep field photo pointing at a tiny dark patch of sky and finding thousands of galaxies, maybe those galaxies literally didn't exist until we
like I've thought about this a lot, like simulation theory and stuff, but like at the end of the day, what the hell that doesn't matter. You know? It really doesn't. It doesn't change anything, in my opinion. Like, yes, I guess there's a possibility that that could be true, but like at the end of the day, that's not really a question I even think is worth trying to answer. It's not worth it. There's other more important things I would like to do, you know? Like, what's the meaning of LeBron's career? I don't know. I wish it answered in that video we just watched. I don't know.
look there. Maybe the structure of the universe didn't exist until we figured out how to map the cosmic microwave background radiation. Maybe you and I are just ones and zeros, and what we experience as consciousness is just a sim program, just existing in a game. This is a popular theory, if maybe a little bananas. But belief in it is understandable, considering the equally baffling absurdity of the physical universe. There is a more elegant solution, though. One that allows for a universe teeming with life, but simultaneously seemingly void of life. But it's no less existentially terrifying. The term
Okay.
Great Filter speaks to the idea that basic life like single-cell bacteria might be common, but intelligent life encounters barriers that prevent it from existing everywhere.
That's the thing, bro, is like, okay, we don't even know if it's possible to expand more than we already have as humans. We might have already reached the limit. We'll never actually be able to know what the limit is. It could be unlimited potential. That might be true, but it also might not be. We could plateau at any point. We have no idea. Like genuinely, we have no idea. We're exploring the unknown constantly as humans. That's what's wild, bro. Is like, God, we just assume that humans will always progress, like technologically and stuff, but we don't actually know. We know fuck all. We don't know anything, really, at the end of the day.
Some think the Great Filter occurs before intelligent life. For example, the evolution from single-celled organisms to multicellular organisms, that might be a Great Filter. After all, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and single-cell life began relatively early, some believe around 500 million years. But it wasn't until 1.6 billion years ago that multicellular life arose on Earth, meaning it took 2.5 billion years for life to make that jump. Perhaps this is such a remarkably rare event that it could be considered a Great Filter. Others suggest the Great Filter is something that still awaits us, that it occurs after intelligence evolves. Maybe because of a cataclysmic cosmic event, or the death of their star. Maybe it's a predatory alien civilization engaging in dark forest gamesmanship.
I don't think it's that. I think it's destroying ourselves, which I think is what he's exactly going
Or
to say.
maybe because intelligent civilizations inevitably drain their own resources and wipe themselves out.
Yeah, that's what I.
Perhaps intelligence isn't the ultimate goal of evolution, but a mutation of it, a kind of cancer, a metastasis that requires an unsustainable consumption of resources that inevitably dies out.
What I'm saying is 6'7" and Skibbity Toilet is the peak of humans. Exactly. That is exactly what I mean. Yeah, technology is so destructive, like nuclear weapons or engineered viruses. Yeah, bro. Like, I honestly think, okay, bro, you know what humans need, man? We need a common goal so that like countries can actually work together instead of trying to fight against each other. We need a common goal that needs to be fought. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this might sound really bad, but having a threat that we could feasibly solve if we combine all the powers together might be what we need to pass the Great Filter, if that makes any sense. Like, all the countries can agree on is a threat that could end humanity so that they could work together instead of, I know that sounds like easier said than done, but I think that is possible, honestly. I really do.
All of this is an overdramatic way of
I
saying
just
that
don't know what it would be.
maybe intelligent civilizations have a time limit. And if there's anything as absurd as the space in the universe, it's the time of the universe. The two are fundamentally linked after all. The average lifetime of a species here on Earth is between 5 and 10 million years. Intelligent life might fare better, or it might fare worse, but we can give ourselves the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say we last 10 million years. In the 13.8 billion year history of the universe, that is a line so thin, you can barely see it on the screen. Even if life was common, even if intelligent life were common, even if every single star system in the universe were capable of creating intelligent life at some point before that star system dies out, it is entirely plausible that all of those civilizations rose, conquered, and ended at different windows in the universe.
That's wild.
And never knew that any of the others ever existed.
That's wild.
We, in our tiny, inconsequential oasis of the universe, are only here for a fleeting amount of time. And all we have is each other against the vast, consuming darkness.
Wow.
On Valentine's Day in 1990, the Voyager 1 spacecraft, well past the orbit of Neptune at this point, took one last look back toward the inner solar system and snapped a picture. This picture held no scientific value. In it, there was nothing we could learn that we didn't already know. But in this photo, Voyager captured Earth from over 6 billion kilometers away, making it look like only a cluster of blue pixels. Carl Sagan championed this photo and called it the pale blue dot. It is, in a sense, the most accurate photo of our species ever taken.
I've heard of it.
In Carl's words, "From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful
Yeah, but like, okay, this might be true, but I'm low-key like the main character, so I think I'm actually going to be able to escape this and travel to different planets.
child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are all challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit, yes. Settle, not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand.
I really don't know how close we are to like being able to, oh my God, what's it called? Inhabit another planet. Because, okay, Elon Musk is always talking out of his ass. Let's just be honest. He's been saying for the past 20 years that we're going to get on Mars in the next 2. So can't really look at him for a good date for that. I'm thinking we could actually get on Mars. Okay, what the hell are we gonna? Why Mars, bro? I understand it's like the closest planet that could potentially have something good, but like, what a lame planet, bro. What a lame planet. It's just red and stupid. Let's pick a better planet, bro. Imagine living on a star. Now that would be sick. Imagine living on the sun. Let's do that. Let's do that. His great idea is to nuke it, so you're gonna say he will not be getting us anywhere. Honestly, probably not. Warmer than Mars, exactly. Hey, it would be. It's like LA. Living on the sun would be like living in Florida or LA. That's exactly what it would be like. You would be fine. Just wear some sunscreen. That's what it's made for. Sunscreen. It screens you from the sun. Doesn't matter how close you are. It has infinite distance.
Been said that
I
astronomy
understand
is a
science. I'm a
humbling and
genius.
character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. Space is scary, and yet we are drawn to it. It's the ultimate call of the void.
It is
And with a
sick as
renewed
hell.
interest in colonizing the moon and new telescopes like the Vera Rubin telescope, we seek to expand our reach into the abyss. And maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll wise up and outlive our species.
I don't think this is real, but that is so beautiful. We should just make a ring world. We should just make a massive donut.
Life expectancy. Maybe we'll expand through the cosmos and find new homes on other worlds near other stars. Because in an infinite universe, anything is possible. The expansive scale of our universe is beyond comprehension, but your comprehension skills are not beyond expanding when you dive into the scientific thinking course on Brilliant.
That's great. All right, that was a cool video. I love thinking about that type of stuff. It is scary, but then I think about it for like another minute, and then I'm like, does it really matter? Let's just take massive, copious amounts of drugs and pass out. I'm not promoting. Don't do drugs.